right, welcome everybody to Hamish and Jasha review your bathroom. At least that's what we're doing, right? We didn't get anything sent in, so
we're reviewing one of our own bathrooms.
yeah. So you're at my house today, Hamish. I thought we'll go and check out my bathroom. You can review it.
It's pretty average, to be honest.
It's pretty average. The shower head is below my head, so I need to sit in the bath to have a proper shower.
We're reviewing the entire, like when I say bathroom, I mean toilet. I don't know why.
Yours is separate at your house, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
I'm finding it interesting that you're talking about the bathroom because I'm like, no, I was just looking at the toilet.
Yeah, well, we can move on to the toilet, and the toilet seat's currently broken.
So we're talking about my bathroom.
To the side.
Oh, we don't have a shower head over my bathroom. So
wait, do you not?
No, it's pretty sucky. We have a bath and then a shower.
You have a shower head.
We have a shower head. It's just not over the bathroom. Over the bath.
It's not one thing. They're separate components, and they're not where your toilet is.
And they're both pretty average.
Yeah, look at us with our average bathrooms.
I like the neon lights you put in though.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, thanks. Yeah.
Anyway, that was a waste of how long? A minute and a half.
There we go. Not too bad. Yeah, we're back.
Yep.
Nearly the end of March. About to finish out this week and have I'm about to have a 4-day weekend. I'm about to have a 5-day weekend. You're about to have a 4-day weekend because it's Easter.
Yep.
Gonna be good. Yeah, we're just in my basement once again. My garage. I'm drinking flavoured water.
I was just finished my coffee.
What was like a Bailey's coffee or something crazy?
I don't know.
My wife
it came from your kitchen.
Yeah. I don't know what kind of stuff she buys. Crazy.
And now I've moved on to the flavoured water.
This stuff's good. This stuff's good. You know my challenge I was doing, the Homeru 75 like physical challenge, diet kind of.
Yeah.
I found that I'm the only one still sticking with it at work out of like 20 plus people that were doing it.
Really?
And my like partner in crime, who we were like, yeah, we should do this. She's not doing it, and she was surprised I still am. So I'm stuck in this position now that this whole North Power Drive, no one's doing.
Yeah.
And no one's going to celebrate when it ends in May. So do I continue?
Yeah.
Or do I just stop and continue like eating kind of healthy, continue like exercising once a day?
No, I reckon you continue doing it.
Fully?
I reckon continue doing it. You might get like a trophy at the end of it.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see if they're that kind. Today we thought we would talk about something that we'd discussed. It's one of the first things we kind of like came up with on the spot that we should do a podcast on this someday. So we're going to be talking about our personal favorite trilogies. We've chosen 3 trilogies each, which we love.
Don't mind that, it's the neighbours.
Yeah, but the neighbours like having a party or something. It's not the haunted ice cream truck. Yeah, we're going to talk about our 3 favorite trilogies, our holy trinity of trilogies, if you will. And I don't know, just talk about them, discuss them. Before that, though, you're having bad luck recently with things going on outside your house.
Well, it's just one thing.
Well, there was the haunted ice cream truck.
Yeah, that's pretty bad luck. You hear a haunted ice cream truck in the middle of the night.
You know it's an omen for something.
Yeah.
And
it was.
Yeah, it was an omen.
Because, 3 months later, how long have we been doing this for?
We started in February.
Okay.
It's end of March. Or we started maybe June. I don't know.
Okay. So not that long ago, anyway.
No.
Should I just wait for them to go by?
This car's really backing up. Or doing something. Revving and just revving outside.
No, they're backing up.
Yeah, there we go. There we go.
Oh.
Done. Oh. Gone.
There we go.
Quiet.
No, I can still hear it. Nope.
Whoa. Yeah.
There we go.
There we go.
I can still hear them, but I'm going to ignore it now. Yeah, well, I feel bad talking about this because it wasn't bad luck for us. And it was,
No.
It was probably, pretty serious, to be honest.
Yeah.
But, yeah, our neighbour's car blew up randomly in the middle of the night, and
You woke up at like 4 a.m.
4 a.m. with this car alarm going off. No one got hurt. I I feel like a bad neighbor. I haven't actually gone over
Yeah,
to
but-
check.
Oh,
They're kind of new to the area, so
Yeah.
I haven't actually talked with them at all. And they're not like direct neighbor. They're not like our neighbors. Like the closest house is like a big fence in the way and stuff, and
Yeah.
there's like driveway over. Anyway, it doesn't matter. So, but yeah, like no one got hurt. There was no ambulances or anything that showed up in the night. But yeah, it was very random because I've never heard of a car just blowing up randomly in the middle of the night. Well, it caught fire and then started blowing up because.
I was surprised at how much damage. Like, the whole fence is like blackened.
Yeah.
Crazy. And you said that your son, your baby,
Yeah.
just was unfazed.
Well, no, he woke up because after it was burning for a while, because we called the fire department. After it was burning for a little bit, it set off every now and again. It would sort of suddenly blow. Something would blow, and it would be like pretty loud and like you could like almost feel it.
Yeah.
And I think it was like the second or third time it happened. Yeah, my son woke up, but he. What's wrong?
I was just don't worry.
Sorry.
I was looking at how long the phone lit up. It's telling how long we've been talking for, and I saw the seconds, and it said like 30, and I was like, "Have we been talking for 30 minutes?" It's only 6. Go on. Sorry.
Anyway, sorry. This is a bitsy podcast tonight.
This is great.
Anyway, so yeah, my son woke up. He didn't seem too phased. I think he got a little bit of a fright, but he was just, yeah. But no one got hurt. But it was a pretty crazy thing to have happen 4 in the morning or any time really.
You're saying you're like wanting to have a
the
early night and then nope. I'm just hanging out for what's going to happen next with vehicles around your house. It's it's a mixed bag of.
Well, hopefully nothing happens.
Yeah, so it's not your car next.
Well, that's the thing is because we're worried that it was like done on purpose, like someone.
Do you not know? You don't know what happened. It's just.
Well, no. We know that it was taped off the next day. There was a police car in it still in the driveway still for like ages. The next day, and a little while later, there were some people that had like gloves and stuff on. That
full hazmat suits.
No, not like that. But they looked pretty official, and they were looking through it. Like,
man, what's happening around your house?
I assume they were just like trying to figure out what happened as well. But yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's crazy.
Anyway,
yeah. We're not great 8 minutes of content. This is we're both pretty wrecked. We've had full on weeks, but I'm looking forward to this. Should I start us off? Or do you want to start us off?
Yeah, maybe we save the best to last, and I start it off.
You think mine are the best?
Well, I feel like I'm letting us down. I'm letting the podcast down. I'm letting you down.
Letting our loyal listeners. Thank you. I just got to have a shout out to our loyal listeners in Morocco and Malaysia. You guys are the best. You're like top of our listener count. It's great. And we're the number 5 hobby podcast in New Zealand this month, which is pretty
crazy.
I did not expect it. So whoever's out there, thank you. We appreciate you chucking us on, listen to us banter about crazy things, bathrooms and exploding cars. But to be honest, when I was picking up my Trinity of Trilogies, I chose to make them quite obscure. Because there was a couple trilogies that I love, but I was like, Hamish is going to talk about it.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
The thing is, there's a lot of movies and TV shows that I like that are slightly more obscure, or not obscure, but more like not fully mainstream, I guess.
Yeah.
And I tend to prefer things that aren't like full mainstream.
Yeah,
often.
No, I get that.
But as far as actual like trilogies go, I was kind of found it very difficult because like I didn't want to just be like, I don't know, like there's movies that I watch that I'm like, yeah, I really enjoy that, which I'll probably be talking about. Some of them are on here on this list, where I'm like, yeah, that was a good movie or good trilogy or whatever, but I don't love it. Like it wasn't like whoa,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. And something else I realized as well is a lot of the trilogies that I've loved or grown up loving, there's been the real phase with like movies coming out nowadays that they're making new movies and old franchises. So a lot of the trilogies that I loved are like, they're not trilogies anymore. They've got more sequels. Like the Predator trilogy. Now there's another one. The Aliens. There's so many of those.
I've kind of cheated on that. I've just gone like
the original,
or I've done like 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, okay. No, this is good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like so. And I think the reason why I found it difficult though is because I sort of realized that to get a trilogy, a movie has to be kind of somewhat popular.
Yeah.
Which means it is probably near a mainstream, sort of a...
Yeah.
Yeah. I kind of...
Or like a massive cult following.
Not in every case, but enough that it was like the more obscure ones were just,
Yeah.
either too obscure for me,
Yeah.
or I just didn't like them.
Yeah, exactly. I get it.
I was going to say one, but that would really upset you and probably upset a few
It's probably on my list. So
Yeah.
you just watch out when you talk about the Tremors franchise that way.
Oh,
no,
I
I'm
was
just
going to
joking.
talk about that. No, and there was a lot of other trilogies that I was like, there was one good movie that I enjoyed, and then the rest were like...
Kind of mediocre, yeah. Well, what's your...
Okay,
so... One of yours, one of mine, one of yours, one of mine, one of yours, one of mine. Should we do it?
let's do that.
There we go.
Okay, so I went full mainstream for most of mine.
Yes.
But I also made sure that I got the directors down as well as a few of the starring cast.
I didn't even do that.
Yeah, I know. Well, I figured.
I did get some notes down though. I've got some little notes. This is
I haven't got notes down. I've just gotten.
Oh, there we go. This is our most official podcast. We actually did a little bit of notes, did a little bit of prep.
Wait until you hear what they're the most mainstream. Okay, so I'll just start off with, of course, Lord of the Rings.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
That was going to be my number one as well. But I was like, Hamish has it covered.
I was like, Jace is going to pick something more obscure, so it's safe. But yeah, it's very obvious. Yeah. I've also listed them all down to make sure that I don't stuff up names, but Lord of the Rings is pretty...
Who directed Lord of the Rings?
It's actually Peter Jackson.
Wait, you mean Peter Jackson of King Kong fame?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like your mother's...
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yep. my mother's whoa.
Her breakout role,
so it's starring so many different people. I felt bad listing some of them because there's like so many that you should.
Who are you going to choose? You got to.
Well, I just listed the first 3 that were listed on when I googled.
Can I guess them?
Yeah, sure.
Elijah Wood.
Yeah, that's number 1.
Ian McKellen.
Yeah, that's number 3.
And Viggo Mortensen.
That's number 2.
Done.
There we go. Who else is in there though? We can.
Billy Boyd played Pippin. Sean Austin played Sam.
Yep.
Dominic Monaghan played Mary.
Mm-hmm.
Heaps of others. Kate
Sean
Blanchett.
Bean.
Sean Bean.
There we go.
Bean.
That was one. But I remembered a person's name.
Yeah.
Nah.
Why do you love Lord of the Rings so much?
Because of Sean Bean.
Honestly, I rewatched. Yeah. Well, you're speaking the truth. I rewatched it with We've already said this, but we watched it with Monique, my wife.
Yeah.
Earlier this year to introduce her because she'd never watched it before. And she's married to me, and I'm embarrassed.
She lives in New Zealand. It's embarrassing.
I mean, we were playing Dungeons and Dragons.
Yeah.
A song came on from Lord of the Rings.
Very obviously.
All of us were vibing, and she was like, "Whoa, is this a song from Mulan?" Or something like that. And I died inside.
Yeah.
So she's watched them.
And now you're a happy man?
Now I'm happily married now.
Yeah.
But rewatching them, I think Boromir, Sean Bean's character, is my favourite character of the franchise.
Yeah. Like, I think he's a little bit misunderstood. I feel like a lot of people view him as being quite evil.
Yeah, none of my other family members like him. But
he is one of my favourite characters.
I think he's very flawed, which I love.
Yeah, he is.
Love
definitely.
a flawed character.
Yeah.
But yeah, why do you like the movie so much? Sean Bean, point 1.
Well, for one thing, is like just an epic fantasy. Most of my genre, like my favorite genres, are there's sci-fi and fantasy. My fantasy is probably slightly above sci-fi.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I can't think of a better fantasy world, and like just,
Yeah.
original sort of fantasy story either. Like it's, I don't know. I
Nothing
feel like it's
compares.
inspired so many other stories since like so many other worlds and
Yeah, and it's interesting as well because new things come out like it. Like even heck, The Hobbit came out, and that kind of didn't compare as much. It just feels
No.
like it was just a thing. It was like in that certain time period. I don't know. It just like
Also, I think it was to do with I don't know. I feel like the way they did it, because they used a lot of more practical effects than
in Lord of the Rings.
in Lord of the Rings,
Hobbit,
and
yeah,
it was
a lot of CG
and a lot of
and
yeah. There was, I mean, yeah, The Hobbit was just like all CGI. Well, not all, but there was a lot of too much CGI in my opinion. As Lord of the Rings, they had the bit, and that has aged. The bit of CGI that they have used. I mean, Gollum's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Balrog is a little bit. It's not bad. It's not like, oh, that's horrible. But it's definitely aging. Those a few scenes where they have used CGI, but then the rest of the movie, like you can watch it now. Well,
Orcs
maybe
are
not
still,
everyone
like,
can.
scary. Like a lot of the
But like you
still...
watch through most of it, and it's like majority of the movies, and it's just like this is still really good even today.
Yeah.
Like it's obviously not as like quite as crisp as a movie that would come out today, but I still feel like a lot of the movies that are coming out today, they won't age anywhere near as long as Lord of the Rings will. Like I feel like Lord of the Rings will still outlast a lot of the movies that are coming out now. Just because it's just the way it was done, I feel like it's just you can go back to it and watch it and enjoy it and not have like there's a lot of other movies you watch that have used a lot of CGI from around that time and you just can't watch them now because you try and you're just
it was late 90s, early 2000s around there, which is pretty
pretty
crazy for it to be as good as it is.
Write down the dates.
Oh, man,
wasn't it like 2002?
I think so. I think it was filmed in like 99 or something.
I don't know.
It was released later, but I absolutely agree with you. Nothing compares. They're all good. All three of them are like kind of flawless. Do you have a favorite of the three?
Oh, that is actually difficult. I remember as a kid, younger, early teens, preteens sort of age, the Two Towers.
You like Two Towers?
Was more my favorite.
Yeah.
I think it was. Now I really hope I get this right, and I'm pretty sure this is right. But I think it's because that's the one that had the Gents in it.
Yes.
Right.
The tree bear.
That's when that's where their battle was.
They attack Isengard, which is one of the Two Towers. Yeah.
Yeah. And that was just like, I don't know, as a kid, that was like the most epic scene in all of them.
I think my favorite's Fellowship, first one.
Really?
Just because I really like Boromir,
Just realising we're still on the first trilogy. You can talk about Lord of the Rings for ages.
Yeah, we need a whole podcast for it, man.
You know that Boromir's in Return of the King?
He's in all three.
I
think the extended editions, yeah.
I'm pretty sure he's only in Return of the King.
It might just be flashbacks in the second one, but he's credited for all three.
Oh no, he is. Yeah, he's in the second one, but I don't know. I remember there was one of them that he was in as a flashback.
He's got some scenes with like his father and when his brother's introduced later in the trilogy.
I think it was that must be the second one. I'm pretty sure. Slight controversial thing though that people have had me up on because I haven't read the books.
Yeah.
I haven't read the books. I'm not a big reader, as we've talked about before.
Yeah.
It's a big read.
I read them when I was a kid, and I'm glad I did, because it'll be quite hard to tackle now. Yeah, I had a lot of time put aside to read through those.
I really want to read it. I tried reading it as a kid, but my attention span wasn't long enough. Yeah. My attitude was like, why would I read it when I can watch it? It's like way quicker.
Yeah.
It's way more epic. Yeah.
But what are people having?
Child.
What are people having up on? What?
The controversial thing is that I actually cinematically, for the experience, prefer watching the cinematic cuts, the final cuts, over the extended. I love the extended. I love watching them and being like, wow, there's so much more, and seeing everything and the way it was, intended. Yeah. But everything, just seeing everything. At the same time, it's a real big
each movie
thing you've got to try.
4 hours or so.
Yeah, and the way, in my opinion, the way it's edited and cut and everything isn't quite as smooth and doesn't quite flow as well because of its length and because of all the scenes that are cool but are unnecessary to the story that are added in sort of seem to sort of slow it down for me a bit and make it the overall experience less enjoyable.
I get it. I mean,
it's still good. Like, I still enjoy it. It's just I prefer to sit down and watch. Like, was it 2 hours long or something?
Yeah. I'm a bit biased because I've only ever watched the extended cuts. I don't think I've ever watched the theatrical ones.
Yeah.
Just because my dad, when he introduced it to us, we watched the extended. A few scenes that are like super memorable to me are only from the extended, so I should probably watch the theatricals now sometime. But
but the thing is,
I only watch it every couple of years, and it's always like an event.
The cool experience though, like I get that. Like, you know, I'll probably show my son when he gets old enough to show him the extended as well. But the cool thing about watching only the cinematic cuts, the final cuts as a kid, is that when you get to a teen, you discover the full cuts.
Did you watch the originals first?
Yeah.
Nice.
I hadn't seen them, like, the full extended.
That's cool.
I think I saw, like, one of the movies in it, like, the extended cuts.
Yeah.
When I was, like, maybe 11, 12, I don't know. I can't remember the age. But the thing is that, and normally, if I was to just choose to watch them on the weekend or something, I'd pick the cinematic cuts.
Yeah.
But now, whenever I watch the full cuts, it feels like I'm watching more that I haven't seen, you know? And it was like that when I watched it the first time, extended cuts. I was like, whoa, it's like having a whole new, being introduced to it again. You know, there's so much more that I haven't seen. And that experience is pretty cool.
That's awesome.
That now most people who, you know, like you, who've seen only that, if they go back to watch the final, you know, the shorter versions.
Theatricals,
you're just going to be, I feel like you're just going to be disappointed the whole way through.
When's this coming
up?
Like, it's not even there.
It doesn't happen.
Yeah.
All right, I see.
Yeah. Something we really want to do, real quickly, we've spent like 10 minutes talking about this, is I saw all the Hobbit theatrical ones in the cinema, and I don't think I've seen all of those extended versions yet. So that's something I want to do sometime.
I don't think I have either.
Yeah, that's going to be a whole new thing.
I haven't really bothered.
I haven't rewatched The Hobbit since they came out at the theatres. So.
Yeah, I think I've rewatched, what's the first one called? Unexpected Journey?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've watched that one a couple of times.
I might have as well, but that was before like the last one.
It was, and I might have watched the extended on that one.
Yeah.
But the second and third one, they kind of blur together for me. I don't know what exactly happens in either one. I kind of felt like at the time, I was like, they should have just
made two movies.
Should have cut out all the stuff that wasn't in the books and mixed them together and made just one movie, one good long movie that covers everything.
I need to watch them again. One of our loyal listeners and friends, Philip, who's going to get angry at me for saying I haven't watched all the extended editions. I think we did try watch the extended edition of the third one, me and Philip, and he's like the biggest Lord of the Rings fan ever. And he came around to my place, we were watching the third Hobbit movie extended. I think I have watched half of it, because then Philip himself, self-proclaimed master of all Tolkien, fell asleep. And I just turned it off. So, sorry to shame you, Phil. But I've watched half of Battle of the Five Armies. Okay, should I talk about one of my trilogies?
Yeah.
This is the controversial one that you were going to comment on.
Okay.
Okay, guys. My first favourite, the head of the trinity of trilogies for me is the Evil Dead Trinity. The Evil Dead Trilogy? The Evil Dead Trilogy.
I thought you might mention
That's
that
a knowing from you. Now,
I was going to comment on that being one of the more obscure ones that I've seen, but just didn't like.
Yeah.
But then I was like, no, he's probably got that, or he'll get offended and upset.
No, I'm not. I won't. And I'll. If you don't know what Evil Dead is, it's kind of this late. It's like 80s, 80s and 90s horror trilogy from Sam Raimi, who would probably know did the original 3 Spider-Man films. I think it's certainly massive stuff he's done since, but it's kind of about this hero called Ash who goes to a cabin in the woods with his friends, and then they read an evil book and unleash like demons and monsters onto this cabin. And as the series goes on, it gets crazier and crazier, and he ends up cutting off his hand,
recast.
Getting a chainsaw. People get recast. They kind of rebooted a few times with
5-10 years pass. I don't know.
Time passes. He travels back in time.
What was the time difference between the shooting of the first one and the shooting of the second one?
Wasn't
that 5 or 10 years?
It's a while. Yeah, it was a while.
I don't know. I might be wrong on how long it was, but
it's like one of the. Everyone's heard of Evil Dead. It's like one of the top horror movies everyone talks about. I watched it for the first time a couple years ago, and I just fell in love. It's not for everyone, and it's real interesting because the first movie is like a full-on horror, and it's quite like dark and evil, like feeling
And
like
also
it's
bad.
hey, whoa, we're not getting into that, but it's like it's really like dark, and it's its own thing. Second one comes out, they make it more of a comedy. Third one comes out, it's just full-on goofy comedy now, and it's not even a horror anymore. It's like based in fantasy.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. I just really love it because it's real unique, and it's got all that aspects, and I just love the main character, Ash. He's super overconfident. He's got a chainsaw for a hand. He has all these crazy one-liners he's spouting off all the time. And I don't know. It's just like a feel-good trilogy for me. The second one's my favorite, the more comedic one. Then probably the third, the fantasy one. Then the first, the horror one.
Yeah.
But I love all three of them. I watched them with my brother recently, and he loved the first one. He thought that was awesome, but didn't really like the other two.
That's just weird.
Which is, everyone seems to have a different take on it. But you borrowed them earlier this year, and you didn't like them.
Yeah.
Did you like anything about them?
Yeah, there was aspects to them I enjoyed. I felt like, I don't know. I felt like the second one I was expecting more humor,
more goofiness,
and comedy and goofiness, and it was goofy, but at the same time it kind of felt like, I don't know, it wasn't like I didn't laugh much. There was stuff I was snickered at, but it wasn't like full on comedy, or it, because that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like it was trying to suddenly go more spoof, like it was
totally.
It was
More
making
camp,
fun of
more
itself,
spoof, more,
you know?
yeah.
And it was enjoyable. Like the experience was enjoyable. It was funny, but the first one, in my opinion, was pretty bad. It wasn't as a horror as like,
it's super old, and
horror
low
movies
budget.
go. You know, it's low budget horror movie.
Yeah,
I typically really like practical effects.
Yeah.
As we talked about before with Lord of the Rings. I really like practical effects.
that's kind of fake.
Practical effects normally look fake.
Yeah.
They were like bad.
Hey, it's a couple
effects.
students wanted to make their first movie.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. And with that in mind, good job.
Yeah,
Great movie.
I totally
When you're
get you.
thinking about
I totally get you.
as far as like, if you're not thinking about that and you're just thinking about as far as horror movies go,
Yeah.
yeah.
I totally get you. And
But,
I think probably why I like it a lot is because I do respect that they made this on a shoestring budget. They were all living in the cabin while they were filming. They were like, they ran out of money halfway through and had to like start it up like 6 months later and film the rest of it.
Yeah.
So I think I appreciate it a lot more than I kind of like love it.
That's probably why a lot of the time they're like, that explains a lot actually of them starting it up later on, because it kind of felt like they
does feel a bit like
unnecessarily
choppy.
changed some of the practical effects. Like they were like suddenly like a demon possessed person suddenly like it like sort of felt like that anyway. They sort of suddenly it's like their makeup's different now, or they're like, you know, they're doing the effects that way now for some reason, and it's like what before they were, you know. The thing is as far as like I tend to like horror movies of a particular kind, and I like old horror movies.
I think we like a lot of the same old.
A lot of old horror movies also have a lot of good practical effects,
and they're just like classic stories.
Yeah. But the thing is that I have this weird thing with like older movies where I sort of have this like, wow, that was horrible, I'm so glad I watched it sort of experience.
Yeah.
And that was my experience with, I always muck up its name, Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why I always try and morph
changed
in
their names.
Walking
It's
Dead.
Evil Dead 2,
Yeah.
Army of Darkness.
I always try to morph in Walking Dead for some reason. into it. So
Which you've been watching recently.
Yeah, I don't know why. And then Sean as well, because isn't there a TV show with Sean?
Sean. What? Yeah. It's Edgar Wright's film. Sean versus the Dead. Sean. Oh, this is bad.
I don't know. Oh no. The other thing I get mixed up with is Fear of the Walking Dead. So I go Fear of the Evil Dead. Is
Fear
what
of
I
the
keep
Evil Walking Dead. Sean.
I knew it. I always get up all those. I don't know why.
Shaun of the Dead. There you go. Shaun of the Dead. Got it.
Um,
I do get you. And I think watching it again with my brother and giving it to you was like, oh, this isn't for everyone.
Yeah.
I think I kind of love it because it's just crazy characters, real low budget,
yeah.
super unique main character killing demons.
I think the special effects in the third one, which was probably my favorite.
The fantasy goes back in time.
The special effects in that one were a lot more fun,
Yeah.
I think, to watch. So they weren't just, it wasn't like bad special effects. It was very obviously fake stuff.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, so it wasn't convincing in any way, but it was more enjoyable to watch. It was almost like a stop motion movie. So a lot of the scenes.
With skeletons and a lot of the enemies were stop motion, I think.
Yeah, it was.
Interesting thing with Army of Darkness, to connect it up to your trilogy, is there's a massive battle scene in the castle, and Peter Jackson, who directed Lord of the Rings, as we just found out before, you might know him from King Kong, one of his favorite movies is Army of Darkness, and he styled the filming of the Helm's Deep battle in the Two Towers off how the battle goes in Army of Darkness, which is pretty cool, because you can kind of see some similarities of how it's shot.
Yeah, I did actually take note of that, because I think you mentioned it before I watched it, and I took note of it when I was watching it, and I was like, oh yeah.
Just some attacking on the stairs.
I can see some of it.
Yeah, which is pretty cool.
Not all of it, but I can see some of it.
There's some slight... Yeah. I got some random facts from Evil Dead. Not that we're going to spend like so much time on each of these things.
Do we have time for
next
fun facts?
Dude, you're going to want to know these fun facts.
Okay.
At the end of filming The Evil Dead, right?
Yeah.
The crew put together a little like time capsule memento thing and buried it in the chimney of the cabin that the whole movie's set in.
Yeah.
To this day, no one's found it. The cabin that the movie was set in got burnt down or destroyed. It's now on someone's private property, and the owners of the property apparently like don't want anyone entering, and there's been people that tried to enter and they've been like shot at with guns and stuff.
Really?
It's just like this real strange, it's just like no one can get there.
Yeah.
But apparently there's a little capsule that has been placed there, and the main actor in the movie who plays Ash, Bruce Campbell, has said recently that he's like said where this is. He said, where we filmed it, this capsule's buried 30 paces across from the fireplace where the trapdoor was. It's buried 3 to 4 feet deep. It'll be easier to find if you dug. And he even said what's inside it. So these are some of the things that are inside this capsule.
Yeah.
There's a burnt out light bulb.
Okay.
That was in the filming of the movie. There's a piece of wooden beam that was used that was like one of the characters in the movie was hit with.
Yeah.
It's just like a styrofoam beam or something.
Yeah.
There's a piece of gaffer's tape.
Okay.
Just random things in the movie set. But here's the interesting thing. Apparently there's, buried with all this stuff, is the code to unlock what the true visual meaning of the movie is.
Okay.
The visual, there's a code, all we know is there's a code written down that unlocks the visual meaning of Evil Dead. I have no clue what that means, and he's never elaborated on it. So, there you go. I was thinking, we need to go and find this. I think we need to go
get shot
overseas.
Where is it? Like
Bodyproof Armor.
America, right?
Yeah, America somewhere. And find what the visual meaning of Evil Dead is. I don't know what that could be. It's probably just, hey, this is in his mind the whole time, or something like.
I thought you were going to say something cool, like they put in the book from the movie in the or something, the original.
The visual meaning, man, that would blow everyone's mind. Okay, second fact, last fact, I promise.
Yeah.
The movie was made, as we talked before, super cheap. People were like living in the cabin they were filming at, endlessly long hours. They ran out of money while making the film, and they couldn't get anyone to distribute it. So they couldn't get it out there for people to see. They'd shown it to heaps of film distributors. Film distributors? There we go.
Producers?
Got there in the end. Film distributors, like companies which distribute films. And they always turned it away because it was too gory, too much violence. It was like shocking at the time, even though the practical effects don't really hold up too much now.
Yeah.
And no one was accepting their film or wanting to distribute it. Their last chance was they got selected to show it at a Cannes Film Festival, real famous film festival.
Yeah.
They showed it. No one was really impressed. No one loved it. But, crazy coincidence, Stephen King, famous horror author, was at that film festival and ended up watching that movie. And he just randomly wrote a review of the movie in this popular horror and sci-fi magazine saying, yeah, this was awesome, I loved it. Or you can quote me on that, is exactly what he said. And suddenly everyone wanted to see it. A film distributor bought it outright so they could get it to everyone, and it's been a cult classic ever since. And then the director of Evil Dead made a second movie after that, which bombed. And when it was time to make Evil Dead 2 came around, again, they didn't have any money.
Yeah.
And it was just a crazy coincidence that one of the actresses from the first Evil Dead was working on a Stephen King movie, offhandedly talked to Stephen King and mentioned that they were trying to get Evil Dead 2 made, but they didn't have the money. And he sorted it out, so that whole film got financed as well. So
Man.
Stephen King has caused the Evil Dead to become a thing, which is pretty cool. It's
So
pretty
he's to
crazy.
blame.
All right, we spent too much time on Evil Dead, apparently.
As I said, I'm glad I watched it.
Yeah, and I reckon give it a watch if you're a fan of old movies or horrors or just...
They're
wanna have a good
horrible
time.
movies, but they're a good watch.
There you
That's
go.
my
I'll-
opinion. That's my
Good
opinion.
watch, yeah.
I shouldn't say horrible. Yeah, that's being a bit too harsh. But and I don't want to step all over your trilogy. Okay, yeah, especially since my next trilogy is super mainstream. I wasn't even thinking about putting this on because, again, like Lord of the Rings, I absolutely love.
Yeah.
But then that's the first thing I wrote down. But then I was like, found it really hard to think of anything else or find anything else, and I sort of, I don't know what's the word. I didn't really want to put this on, but I decided I had no other choices. So I put in Star Wars 4, 5, and 6, the originals.
I agree with you. I think that's an awesome trilogy. I was
It is
scared
an
you were going to
awesome
put the prequels down.
I
know how
also
much you like those.
I like the prequels, but then I was like, nothing beats the original
Yeah,
ones.
nice. So this
And
is
also,
the original 3 Star Wars.
Yeah.
Star Wars,
Yeah.
The Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi.
Star Wars: A New Hope.
Originally called Star Wars.
Yeah, but it's officially Star Wars: A New Hope, isn't it?
I guess.
So, I get what you're meaning, but
Yeah, all right.
that's why I put down 4, 5, and 6, not 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Um,
I'm glad you didn't put the prequels on. Let's just say that.
yeah. Interesting. I didn't know this until I looked it up, but George Lucas didn't actually direct all 3.
Did you think he did?
I thought he did.
He directed 1, right?
I thought he directed 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, no.
I thought he directed all of them, except for the latest ones.
I think that's like a commonly, a lot of people I reckon think that.
Well, it's because it's like Lucasfilms, you know.
Yeah,
It's his
name plastered all over it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's a George Lucas thing.
Yeah, so George Lucas directed A New Hope, and then Irvin Kershner, I'm butchering that.
Never heard his name before. Don't know what else he does.
I don't know. I didn't go that deep diving into it. Like, I only just found out.
Yeah.
Into what he did, but I read a couple of a little blurb that seemed to suggest that he was what do you call it? I'm forgetting words left, right, and center. Yeah, I've got it here. Nope, it's gone.
It's really interesting because George Lucas.
Sorry.
No, you go.
He was like, what's the word? It's like basic a mentor, not mentor.
A mentor, like he was.
Like he
Someone's
was
role model.
Yeah, like that in that
For
way.
George Lucas.
That's how I interpreted what I was reading anyway.
Ah.
It was basically George Lucas, one of George Lucas's mentors or whatever, or something like that. He seemed like even older than George Lucas.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know what he's directed, but he basically got him on to try and direct The Empire Strikes Back,
Which is a lot of people's favorite one.
Yeah. I don't know which one would be my favorite.
I think I love the original, but I don't know if that's
I don't know. I think The Empire Strikes Back is probably it's close.
Yeah. I mean, it's got
I'm
the
not
whole
really
Hoth
sure,
scene,
like-
the battle in the snow. You can't. It's
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, it's interesting now because a lot of George Lucas is accredited with creating so many things,
Yeah.
and like he's tied to like Indiana Jones, Star Wars,
Yeah.
but he's only really directed.
I was getting the
Bits and
opinion
pieces.
when I was reading because I moved on and Richard McCund, I don't know how to pronounce that again. I'm really sorry.
Sorry, Richard.
Only just reading. Yeah, sorry, Rich. It's just give you a nickname now.
He's our Moroccan listener. You know, he moved to Morocco.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, shoot. Anyway, he directed the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Because apparently, Ivan, is that how you pronounce it?
The director of
I'm
Empire.
really bad at I don't know.
We've learned that already. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm hopeless at this. He found it too physically taxing or something.
Because
like
he
that.
was old.
Yeah, I think it was like directing that particular movie. He found it particularly physically difficult or something like that. That's what I read anyway. So he couldn't direct the next one, and George Lucas got this other guy, Richard, to do it.
Yeah.
But from what I read about that, it kind of sounded like George Lucas doesn't really seem to enjoy directing that much. Like, apparently, it was like, don't quote me on this, but I think it was something to do with him saying stuff like, in like interviews or something, about him being, about basically saying that directing a movie is like basically saying you go on set with this image in your mind of how a scene should play out, and then you end up finishing the day feeling really depressed, disappointed.
But wouldn't that be what every writer feels?
Yeah, I
a
guess.
Point.
Or director.
Like, you're kind of giving someone else your vision. So I'd be under the impression that I'd want to be the one who...
Yeah.
If anyone ruins it, I'd want to be the one to...
Yeah, but I feel like, I don't know. I guess there's a lot of pressure of being a director, I guess. But but yeah, I was surprised to find out that he didn't direct all three. And I don't, I guess I'm not like a super Star Wars fan. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been sort of more begrudgingly putting it on there.
It's all three of them are awesome movies, though.
Yeah,
the characters are iconic. The story, like, again with the Lord of the Rings, is there a better sci-fi trilogy out there?
I don't. Yeah,
nothing comes off like even sci-fi movie than Star Wars. It just like there probably is a few stuff movies. Not one that's like that world building, that much world building, that many like.
I mean, you have
characters.
sci-fi, as we discussed last episode, sci-fi TV shows.
Yeah.
That get real and like.
That was a couple episodes ago, but yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
Oh shoot! It was.
We talked about Flash last episode, which is sci-fi. There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
But
good
both
practical effects in that as well.
There you go. Good. Both Flash and Star Wars, I feel, are this mix of sci-fi and fantasy. Like, they don't feel straight sci-fi, right? They've got like fantasy elements.
Yeah. Isn't Star Wars technically like a sci-fi, like, not opera, but...
Yeah, they call it a space opera.
Space opera, that's the...
Which I don't know what it means. Is it like... I've never looked into what space opera means, but Flash Gordon's been called the same thing.
Yeah.
Is it because it's...
I think
just this big sprawling story with larger-than-life characters.
And real dramatic and, like, I guess.
Plays off like a soap opera, but in space.
Yeah.
Soap operas don't really have that many battle scenes.
Well, soap operas... I remember a while ago looking into what the definition of a soap opera was. But, because I always... And I might have been right, but I always went off the definition of like a soap opera was a show that basically had no end in sight.
Yeah.
And was just constantly...
Made
so I don't think Star Wars would fall into that.
Yeah.
Because it's definitely...
I think everyone calls it a space opera.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. We'll need to...
But I guess because like operas tend to be more dramatic. And,
yeah, true.
Yeah. But yeah, well, maybe we'll have to look into that.
Yeah, there we go.
But yeah, I picked that. Yeah, just for that reason. Basically, there's not really. I can't really think of any sci-fi trilogy that could match it. Even in the Star Wars, movie series.
Yeah.
Yeah, the originals, they're pretty hard to beat.
Totally.
But also the Star Wars, I feel, is another one of those shows that's like those movies that sort
franchises,
of franchises that sort of inspired so much more.
Exactly.
Afterwards.
Yeah.
When I said Lord of the Rings has inspired, I was meaning more the books, not the movies so much. But
I mean, Lord of the Rings books inspired like Dungeons and Dragons and everything. So
yeah, the Lord of the Rings movies I think helped a lot. I'm pretty sure they had like a lot of like cutting edge technology that they used for a lot of the special effects back then, which I think,
Yeah.
like the motion
For
capture.
Gollum?
Yeah,
I
for
think
Gollum,
it was
I
the
think
first character ever done like that.
Yeah. So there's a lot of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or him or Jar Jar Binks, one of them were.
Yeah. A lot of groundbreaking stuff that
Yeah.
happened there, I think.
But you're
anyway.
right. Star Wars probably a lot more movies and actual media is what it inspired from just the movies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what's your next
My
movie?
next one's one you've probably never heard of.
Okay.
Called the Before Trilogy.
Before Trilogy.
And a lot of people haven't heard of this because it's a romance trilogy.
Oh.
And
The heck?
it's so unknown, it's crazy. But it's called the Before Trilogy. It's three movies, obviously, but Before Sunrise is the first one, Before Sunset is the second, and Before Midnight is the third. Every single movie stars pretty much the only two main roles are Ethan Hawke,
Yeah.
you'd know from like Predestination, and Julie Delpy, which you probably wouldn't know from anything. They're all directed by Richard Linklater.
Yeah.
And they're all essentially just a conversation between two people
Yeah.
as they walk the streets or hang out or just discussion, just a discussion. Each movie is just a discussion about life and love and loss and just pretty much everything in between, which sounds really boring, but it's just such a unique experience just to like grow that connected with these two characters, real dramatic, really like draws you in with the story, with what they're speaking about. The conversations feel so natural, and it makes you think about a lot of things. And I think this is a trilogy that's really widened. I don't know. It's just really like I've grown to appreciate a lot more things from it and think a lot more about things, and just ponder things, which I've really loved.
Yeah.
Another interesting thing is every movie is made exactly 9 years after each other, and it's about these same two characters in the same relationship. So the actors age. You see the age differences. The first one plays when the first movie is when they first meet and talk to each other as strangers. Second movie is the second time they've ever met just by chance again, and they catch up on what's happened with their lives. A lot of things have changed. Third movie, they're still in a relationship and they've been together for ages, and you kind of see how, I guess, things changed from this first relationship blossoming to now them being in it for a little while. And it's just this real, I'd recommend it to everyone. I think this is something that everyone needs to watch. And I know when I say it's like a romance, it probably puts a lot of people off, and just a discussion the whole time. A lot of it's like one shots and just monologues. But I don't know. It's just a real unique experience that I drawed a lot from personally.
Yeah.
And I think more people need to see.
Yeah, I might have to look into it. When you say that they were made 9 years apart, are you meaning like they were set 9 years apart, or they were literally made?
Set and filmed in real life. Like they're made,
So when was the first one then?
early 2000s, I think.
Okay.
Or late 90s. I don't know. But the most recent one came out in the 2010s.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if they're going to make a fourth. They've talked about it. But it's just such a unique experience, because I don't think, sure, with like Star Wars and stuff, you get the actors, like the actor of Luke coming back for his role ages later.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just so cool just seeing the same characters just age.
Yeah.
And their thoughts on things changed. So yeah, I'd recommend that.
I wonder if there was in like a contract, like...
No, apparently it didn't start off that they were going to try and make one 9 years later. And they just started about 9 years later. They were like, hey, they just started, because it's the director and the two main actors write the whole thing together, the three of them.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I think they just started like faxing each other or emailing each other just ideas around the same time. They made it, and then they didn't know if they were going to make another one. Then 9 years later, they were like, hey, it's about the same time. We should try to do something again. So
Yeah.
it's just like freak accidents, but happy little accidents, you know?
Yeah. I was thinking it would be, if that was all planned out...
Contracted, you need to come back every 9 years for the rest of your life.
Because it'd be a bit of a shame if they were like, no, we're going to make 3, and then they didn't put it out there, like make them sign something that said they had to come back every 9 years for it. Because then what would happen if like the third one, they're like, oh crap, we're going to have to recast someone.
Yeah, totally.
They're busy.
Which would just be so stupid for the whole feel of the whole thing. But yeah, that's my second one.
Okay, we're running out of time.
We're making good time now.
I'll quickly go over, and here is one that I'm a bit happier about. But again, as I mentioned before, I had to pick a trilogy.
It might not
I
be
basically
your...
picked a trilogy that I like,
Yeah.
but I kind of only really love one of them.
Okay.
The others are okay. One
Yeah.
of them's good, and then the other one's not as great,
Alright.
in my opinion. But anyway, and the Alien trilogy?
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought, yeah.
Yeah, so Alien, Aliens, and then Alien 3. So Alien, absolutely love.
Yeah.
It's like, I would put that up there in like my top
So,
movies.
so good. And just,
Yeah.
yeah, it's just...
Aliens, I wouldn't say it's not in my favorite movies.
And we watched that recently together at the movies. They
Did-
showed it again. Remember
Yeah,
that last
that's
year?
right, yeah. Still a good movie. Like, if you really loved Alien, you will probably enjoy Alien.
It's a bit
still.
more action-packed. It's a bit more...
Alien 3, I've only watched that once. And also, I just left Alien 4 off the what is it called again? It's
Alien Resurrection.
Resurrection. Yeah. Ugh,
It's all right.
hated that one. I hated it.
And again with Alien 3, I think it's all right.
Yeah, Alien 3, I thought it was okay. I've only watched it once, and I remember it not being... I didn't like it as much as Aliens.
Yeah.
And Aliens is already quite a big step down from Alien. So, in my opinion, anyway.
Yeah.
But
I don't know which one's better for me.
I still love it as a trilogy, and mainly it's all sort of balancing on the original one, Alien.
Yeah.
Again, I really like the practical effects in it.
Yeah.
I think
70, I think first one was made in 70.
they haven't
79?
aged that well, but I mean, it's still like, I don't know. There's something about practical effects that just make a movie so much more enjoyable, in my opinion.
And scary.
Yeah, they really work for horror movies.
So much better than
I think it's
CGI
because it's sort
horrors.
of unsettling. Like,
Yeah.
it's something that's very
Feels more
it's
real.
Not just like, yeah, it's not just. You know it's there. You know it's something physical that they're having to on screen, and it's sort of it's more unsettling because it's kind of, yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know the science behind it. Anyway,
it's so good. If anyone hasn't watched Alien, do it because you're missing out. It's the most like badass female character ever put to film in Ripley.
Yeah.
One of the best movie monsters, the Alien, and just the setting. It's all based in a ship and just a crew going up against a monster.
I just realised I forgot to mention the starring cast for Star Wars.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Can I guess?
Yeah, sure.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
Harrison Ford.
Yeah.
And Carrie Fisher.
Yeah. You said it in the order as well that I had it down.
Can I guess Alien?
No.
Okay.
I've only got one name down. Because they got... She's the only consistent one through the series.
You're right. Yeah.
And, yeah.
Spoilers, but you're right.
Yeah, it's the cat. No,
the cat. Jonesy the cat.
No, the cat dies in the before the third one, doesn't it?
No, I think the cat stays in a safe place in the second.
Yeah, which means it dies, because isn't there...
I think the third one picks up straight after the second.
Is it?
Yeah. My question for you, Hamish.
I haven't watched the third one in a while. So.
Did you watch the theatrical cuts or the director's cuts?
Theatrical, I think.
But I know that we've watched a few of them together in the past, and I think we watched the theatrical cuts because I think some of them were shorter and we were pushed for time back then.
Yeah.
The third one...
something I haven't... Yeah, I need to watch the director's cuts on those.
Something I love about Alien is they're all directed by different directors.
Yeah, I got them here.
There you go. Ridley Scott did the first.
Yep.
He did Gladiator. He's done so many awesome movies. Blade Runner, which is one of my favorites, is what he did as well. Second one is James Cameron, who did Avatar, who did Terminator.
Mm-hmm.
Third one is David Fincher.
I don't know what he's done.
He's done Seven. He did Fight Club. He did Mindhunter.
Oh, okay.
A lot of really, really good movies.
Yeah.
Of critical acclaim. I think the story goes Alien 3, he was real young when he was given it to do. And there was a lot of studio involvement, and it just didn't get made as well as he would have liked.
Yeah.
And notoriously, the theatrical cut's bad.
Yeah.
And everyone just says watch the extended because you get, I guess, a better idea of what his vision was, and it's a bit better.
Yeah. I'll have to do that then.
Yeah. I'd recommend it because I do enjoy the third one when I watch the extended.
I often forget, there's a lot of movies that have their extended edition.
Yeah.
And I often forget with movies that I like, or like this, that like I often forget to check to see if there is one to go and watch, because if you like Final Cut, you probably the cinematic cut, you'll probably like the extended as well, or even more.
Yeah, totally.
Sigourney Weaver, by the way.
Yeah, I knew it. I was waiting for the big drum roll when you were going to announce it there.
Yeah.
She's good.
Yeah.
She's real good.
She's in a lot of movies, actually. She's in
Avatar as well.
She's in Avatar. She's in Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's in Marvel's Defenders series. She's the big bad.
What was a movie I've watched her in recently that wasn't that great?
Gorillas in the Mist is what you've watched when she looks after gorillas in the mist.
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh,
that movie. What was it called? It had one of the Hemsworth in it, Chris Hemsworth in it.
Chris Hemsworth with
it was
Sigourney Weaver?
It was like the Shack or something. Or no, it was like a horror, and it kind of felt like
Cabin in the Woods.
Cabin in the Woods, that's
which is it's
sort of like a
parody of Evil Dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was kind of a parody, but at the same time it was
kind of its own thing.
Kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
It kind of felt like they weren't being it kind of felt serious, like they were actually trying to make something that was.
And there was some real comedy parts. It was an interesting movie. I need to rewatch that.
Weird movie.
Yeah. Is she in that?
I'm pretty sure she's
in
it. I'm gonna have to look that up right now. I'm sorry, but I remember her being in that. My memory tells me that she was.
That's
I think
cool
she was
one of the engine. Oh, we shouldn't say spoilers.
I think she's essentially the bad guy, the mind behind it.
But yeah, honestly, every trilogy we've mentioned so far, and I've still got one to do. I reckon you guys should give it a watch. There's one of the ones you need to have seen. I can't believe if you haven't. If you like my wife and have missed Star Wars before me showing her, or Alien, or Lord of the Rings, do it now. Watch Evil Dead just because. I mean, I think it's the best thing ever, but Hamish doesn't like it, and I can only say this because he can't hear me. It is the best thing ever. I think he secretly loves it, but he's looking it up, so he doesn't know what I'm saying this. But give Evil Dead.
I'm sorry, I'm not listening. Sigourney Weaver is the director, apparently.
No. Wrong.
Is this the wrong Cabin in the Woods?
Wait, she's not the director of the movie.
The Cabin in the Woods.
She plays a character called the director.
There we go. I was like, crap. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
It just is the director. And I was like, what? It's like, why is there a name down the bottom then? down. Okay. Okay, well, let's see. She has directed a movie, though, before, hasn't she?
Probably.
I feel like I... Hold on a sec. Who actually directed this, though? Okay, I don't know who that is.
What's their name?
Drew Goddard?
Huh. I think he's done a lot of horror movies.
Okay, well, let's see.
Familiar name. Hey, look up Drew Goddard movies.
Yeah.
What's he done?
Okay. It's not showing up with a nice list. Here we are. Bad Times at the...
Al Royale?
Yeah, that's the one.
Good movie.
The Martian?
Did he? No, that was Ridley Scott.
Yeah, that was Ridley Scott, wasn't it? Directed Ridley Scott, or producers...
Did he produce it?
No. Why is it showing up? Google.
These are all connected.
You're making me
Ridley
sound
Scott
like a fool on the
directed
podcast.
Alien.
Because it says Drew Goddard movies, and it has a list, and The Martian's on there. I was like, no, that was someone a lot more famous than that, wasn't it?
Did he even do Bad Times at the El Royale? I don't think he did. Wasn't that
No, that was Drew Goddard.
You sure?
It says it.
Okay.
Director.
No, I'm a fool on the podcast.
Screenplay as well. Screenplay. Drew Goddard.
Okay, should I do my last trilogy?
Yeah, you should.
We've been talking for an hour. How have we done
Holy
this?
heck. We've been talking for an hour.
How have we done this?
Okay,
I'm sorry, guys.
let's power through.
We're doing nice 30-minute ones, then hour-long ones. Hopefully this has been enjoyable. Hopefully you've learned a lot. You've got a lot of good
happens
things
when we prep.
on your watch. This is what happens when we prep and we're just in a talking mood. Okay, final trilogy from me.
Yeah.
Of the podcast episode is John Carpenter's Apocalypse Trilogy. And I don't think you knew this was a thing. Why are you smiling weirdly at me? You don't.
No,
You haven't watched this and don't like
know.
it.
No,
Okay.
I don't know what this is at all.
John Carpenter's my favorite director, probably of all time. I've got a few favorite directors, but I love him. He's done a whole lot of 80s horror movies, 70s, 80s, 90s horror movies. Halloween, Christine, Escape from New York,
Yeah.
Big Trouble in Little China,
Yeah.
and he did the Apocalypse Trilogy, which are 3 seemingly separate movies consisting of The Thing, which we've watched.
Okay, yeah, I have seen that.
Awesome
that's
horror
that's
movie.
an amazing movie.
It'll be up there with Alien for me.
I love that movie.
It's a group of scientists and just researchers in the Antarctic who...
To be honest, I like both of them, which
Yeah.
I don't know if everyone does. But
No, I like both
of
the Thing movies as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's about a group of researchers in the Antarctic. They unearth an alien, and it can change. This alien can make itself become anyone. So it's this whole movie of distrust, them not knowing who's the alien, who's not. And it's just really cool. Real cool practical effects.
Yeah.
So there's The Thing. Then there's The Prince of Darkness, directed by John Carpenter.
Don't think I've seen that one.
And it's all pretty much set in this church, and it's about people kind of like, they find out that that Satan's soul is a liquid, and they have it, and it's going to somehow cause the end of the world, and they don't know how, and it's just craziness, and it doesn't really make sense, but the practical effects are awesome. I don't really know how else to explain it. It sounds real weird that Satan's soul's this liquid, but it's really good.
Okay.
Third one, I did a great job. Third one is called In the Mouth of Madness.
Yeah.
And it's about a horror film novelist, kind of
Yeah.
like Stephen King, called Sutter Kane, who has just died.
Sounds kind of similar as well.
Yeah, I think it's meant to be. Who's just died. And there is, I think, a legal counsel or a lawyer played by Sam Neill
Yeah.
goes and looks into the events surrounding his death to try and figure out what caused it.
Yeah.
And it's this real weird Lovecraftian, like crazy story about people reading his books slightly going mad and then having to dive deep down into what he was actually writing and what this was all. It's just so crazy. And yeah, all these 3 movies make up the Apocalypse Trilogy, which are all about events that, like otherworldly, crazy, cosmic horror-ish events that could cause the end of the world.
Okay.
So they're all no same characters or anything, but same director, meant to be a part of a trilogy, and all similar feels.
Yeah.
And they're all up there. They're all good.
I have to watch the other 2.
Yeah,
I
we'll watch them
love
sometime.
The Thing, so.
They all have the same feel.
Yeah.
And they're all super unique in their own right. And they all feel very Lovecraftian, like just, as I said, cosmic horror and real out there.
Yeah.
But there we go. There's our personal Holy Trinity of trilogies.
Yeah.
Yeah. There we go.
I'm sorry that mine weren't as personal. As I said, it's hard to find them. But yeah.
I think we agreed. My favorite trilogy of all time, though, is Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I don't think you can beat it.
I don't think
I'm
so.
just going to put that out there, and we need to do a whole episode on it sometime.
Yeah, definitely.
Although Evil Dead's probably a close second. But thank you so much for listening, guys. Thank you for having us in your ears for an hour. And yeah, we'll catch you next time. We've got a few things to talk about. We've both been started playing the new Monster Hunter game. I still need to talk about the books I've been reading. We got a few things that we need to do. But yeah, we'll see you next time. As always, get in touch with us if you have something you want us to talk about. Anything else from you, Hamish?
No, I think that covers it. We've talked enough, I think.
But awesome. We will see you guys next time.
Cool. Catch ya. That's how I end phone calls, by the way.
Cool catcher.
No, just catch ya. I say it all the
I have
time.
noticed that.
I say it. That's my ending a conversation phrase, word now. Just catch ya.
Me and you were talking on the phone, trying to talking about whether we're going to do this.
Yeah.
And Monique said I'm the most awkward person on the phone. Me talking to you.
Huh.
I probably am.
I feel like I'm really awkward on this. I'm really awkward with like this, signing off something.
Now I'm making the podcast awkward.
Yep.
Great.
Catch ya.
Yeah. See you guys.